I think this one in particular, Eau du Soir, I think it smells divinely expensive. YSL Libre, I think it's this one. It's just La Perla. Bonne Goddess. It smells very expensive, but Woman in Gold totally convey that. Woja has this sparkliness to it. Woja Elixir, adventurous, expensive smelling. Hi everyone, my name is Matoussaint Kamo. Welcome back to my channel. This is your first time, welcome. This is a mod thing. Today I have another fragrance content for you. I want to talk about fragrances that smell expensive. It doesn't have really anything to do with price, but something about those fragrances, in my opinion, they just convey expensiveness. I'm saying that because I have several fragrances, some of them are on the expensive side. That does not mean I feel when I wear them, the first feeling and impression that come in my mind is that, oh, this fragrance smells expensive. So this is why I thought, oh, it is very interesting to talk about fragrances that I find smell expensive, would make you smell rich, if this is a term to think about. So without any further ado, I think there's different type of expensiveness. I'm going to talk about different type, I think, of expensiveness. I think one feels like old world money, in a sense that there's something a little bit stuffy about it, but still very high quality. And I would say that the fragrance that exemplify that is by Sisley, and I have two of them. Seriously, almost all the Sisley fragrances are like that, but I think this one in particular, Eau du Soir, really, it's fresh, but there is something about it that just makes it smell very expensive. I don't think if you were to tell someone, imagine what price this is, they will tell you that it's super, super cheap. And I also think this other one by Sisley, Easy à la Nuit, I think it smells divinely expensive. All world rich, expensive field of fragrances. Second one set of fragrances that I think smell very sexy and expensive, because sometimes sexy doesn't necessarily feel expensive. Sometimes sexy is like gourmand, it's super sweet, it's super girly. Like think something like Pink Sugar. I don't know if it really exudes expensiveness, but it's very sexy. It's a very sexy fragrance by all means. But I think fragrances that are really sexy, expensive, YSL Libre, very sexy, expensive smelling fragrance. And another sexy one that smell expensive is La Perla. This one, it's just La Perla. It's a very sexy, clean, expensive smelling fragrance. It's not very expensive, but it smells very expensive in my nose. Continuing the theme of sexy and expensive smelling is Estée Lauder Bonne Goddess. It's like being on an expensive yacht, soaking in the sun. It's that kind of lifestyle. And La Perla is like very expensive boudoir scene from a very high class angle. And this one is what type of sexy? It's just a sexy that has confidence in their sexiness. They're not overdoing it, but they're clean, they're beautiful, they're sexy. Those three. I have something like an unbothered sexy, like you sexy, but you're not forcing it necessarily. And I think those fragrances convey that. And it's something like Chanel, Gabrielle. It smells very expensive, but in an unbothered, chill kind of way. not a little bit as stuffy as something like an Eau du Soir. It's a very modern, confident, sexy, rich woman smelling fragrance. Gabrielle. What else I think is unbothered sexy? I think Narcisco, the red one. Eau de Parfum Rouge, unbothered, expensive, sexy smelling fragrance. The musk in it gives it a nice clean line, but it has a sweetness to it, but not a cheap sweet that I find. The cleanliness to it makes it unbothered, expensive, and sexy. Now I have a sexy that I find is kind of a professional sexy, which means, how would I put it? Professional sexy, expensive. You're the CEO, but you still wear nice heel and you still wear the nice suit that's tailor made, that feels expensive. Woman in gold totally convey that. In white outfit and with gold. That's to me professional and expensive smelling. I also happen to think that something like, well, this one is expensive, but it does smell expensive. Like I say, not all expensive fragrances necessarily smell expensive. But I think Woja has this sparkliness to it. Woja Elixir. So those two are the ones that I would say are like professional vibe, but that's vibrant, that expensive smelling. I want you to talk about adventurous, expensive. It's very sporty, it's very sparkly, it's very youthful, but it smells very expensive. And I think the Lina Lawose, it's not possible to wear this fragrance and for someone not to think you have an expensive fragrance on. For a light, airy fragrance, it really smells expensive. So I would put it in that category of adventurous, expensive fragrance. Another one that exudes that quality is by Xerjoff, by Casa Moratti, and by Xerjoff. And it's Fiori d'Ulivo. It's one of the few citrus that I find is like really expensive smelling and understated. So yeah, so there you have it, those two. Adventurous, expensive smelling. Fragrances that smell expensive. If you have some that you find are not necessarily very expensive, but that smell expensive, I would like for you to tell me about it. Share that, put that in the comment. Thanks for visiting A Mod Thing. Hope you enjoy my list. Until next time, bye.